Please come in. He's going to give us a short talk later on. Please. So Madana-gopāla is here with his team. There are about 10 of them. If you don't mind, you would mind standing up just.
Sure, yeah. So these are from US.
Please.
Gopishwar is missing. Yeah, so one Mataji is missing. So, do you want me to introduce?
Please.
So this is Suranjana Radha Devi Dasi.
Krishna.
Venu Madhuri Mataji. Sadhna Vriddhi Mataji, she's from Lucknow, India. Shyam Gopal Das. And Ashu Mehtaji. And Gopishwari Devi Dasi, she's on the phone call right now with her team. Where's my mom? Oh, Mantakini Mataji.
Hare Krishna, welcome all to Kenya. And maybe you want to hang around because we're not sure whether Trump will allow you in. So if he doesn't, then don't stress too much. This is a big house. Welcome. So our guest is Madana-gopāla, who is formerly from Nairobi. He became a devotee, or rather started at the age of 14, way back with ISKCON. And since then he has moved on a lot. And I'd like Govinda to please give a brief of his background, and it's amazing where he's gone and come back and what have you.
First, we'd like to thank Ravi Prabhu. Ravi Bhai ki! Jai! His house is always open for us to do programs. So yes, today our guest of honor, His Grace Madana-gopāla Prabhu, he was born in Nairobi here, and he moved to US to study. He studied in Penn State University, geology. His father used to have a very old store in town called Ruby Center. I don't know if those who are here from the 80s, they would remember. And so he went to study geology there. And of course, he became a devotee here in the 80s, 1991, I think. Yeah. And when he was there, he was still practicing. In fact, he started the university, the Hare Krishna University program at Penn State University. And he went on and he got married. His wife, Mansi Ganga Mataji, here, she's from Ahmedabad originally, and they have a son who is studying to become a doctor. They live in New Jersey. So Madana-gopāla Prabhu, professionally, he works for Citibank, New York. He's one of the IT directors there. And spiritually, he's in charge of 5 temples in North America. He's a zonal supervisor. And also, he's the youngest initiating guru in ISKCON. He was initiated by his spiritual master, His Holiness Satswarup Maharaj. And Maharaj instructed him to start accepting disciples. So in ISKCON, he is the youngest initiating guru. Can anyone guess his age? 40? 45? Anyone last? 39. Yeah, you're almost there. He's young at heart. So without due, let us welcome Madana-gopāla Prabhu by chanting one time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
I want to thank Daksha Mataji and Ravi Prabhu for very kindly hosting us this evening. Thank you. It's very generous of you. I was actually here in this home last year around this time, and we did a little small kirtan, just a few of us, 2-3 of us. And I've known Ravi Prabhu for about 5 years. Joining the online Zoom classes, Bhagavad Gita discussions, and Ravi Prabhu was one of the most prolific and active members asking the most amazing questions. The kind of questions where you have to get back to you. I'll get back to you after research and find those kind of questions. And so I learned a lot also by doing that. Thank you, Ravi Prabhu. And he still keeps asking hard questions. I hope he doesn't ask any tonight. We'll do a little bit of kirtan first. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Harinam Sankirtan ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So thank you all very much for singing so beautifully. I was looking out the window here and just thinking how much Nairobi has changed. I came here last year after 28 years. And it's completely a different place, completely different city, different vibe. Change is the only constant. And yet, this spirit of Krishna consciousness in Nairobi has actually just grown more and more. So it's so nice to see. While the skyline changes, these eternal principles of the soul yearning for spiritual life is very much blazing in this wonderful city. So once again, I want to thank Lakshma Mataji, Ravi Prabhu for kindly hosting this evening. Prabhu told me to speak something uplifting, but don't make it too heavy, he said. I told him, don't worry, I'll only make it heavy enough so that people will stop scrolling on their Instagram for about 10 minutes at least. You know. We live in a world of constant stimulation, constant connection, and constant striving and striving. And yet, beneath all that activity, there's a gentle knock in our hearts, a quiet feeling that says, there must be more. There must be more than just this constant scrolling. We can achieve much in the outer world, the external world. We can achieve a lot. But we still feel a subtle but very deep emptiness within. This emptiness is mysterious. You cannot purchase or buy the solution for this emptiness. You cannot negotiate your way out of this emptiness. You cannot outsource it to your assistant, even if she's very efficient. This is the thirst of the soul, the thirst for spiritual connection. Now, what is spirituality? This word spirituality, we use it a lot. Spirituality, it's often used, so often used, and I would say even overused, that it risks becoming a lifestyle accessory. I also have some spirituality to go along with my, designer Prada bag. But spirituality, in its true sense, is not a trend. It is not scented candles, the Himalayan salt lamps, weekend retreats. Those things may be pleasant, but they're not the essence of spirituality. True spirituality is the art of aligning two worlds. The world you manage outside and the world you experience inside. in its basic essence. That's the spiritual. How do you align those two? Because, you have a world inside too. Everyone has it. But then we also work in the world outside. This also needs work, this also needs work. Both need work. But spirituality is the act and the art and science of aligning those two. And for the most part, a lot of the times, they are so disconnected. So when we make an effort to align those two, that is called spiritual life. Now, you are a parent, you're a spouse, you're a business owner, you're a professional, you're a doctor, lawyer, engineer, banker. Those roles are important. But behind those roles, there is an observer. Observer who quietly watches everything. You, yourself. You're watching it also. That witnessing part of you who's watching this and evaluating it and experiencing it, that is the soul. Now spirituality begins when you turn inward and ask, who is this inner witness? Who is this I that remains the same? Even though my body changes, my hairline changes, my bank account changes, my phone model changes every year, but who is this I? One friend just told me, I have 10 iPhones, but only one me. And I said, exactly, and you never updated the software of that one you. Need updates too. That software update is spirituality, tending to the needs of that witness, that actual you. So, when Arjuna stood filled with anxiety on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Krishna didn't tell him, hey, Arjuna, sit cross-legged, do some deep breathing, and drink some water. No. He went straight to the truth of the matter, to the heart of the matter. Krishna said, Nachayate mrete vapadachin. That the soul, Arjuna, the you, is never born, never dies. And not only that, there was never a time when you did not exist. Nor I, nor all these kings. Not devaham jatanasam. And there never will be a time when any of us will cease to exist. When I read that, my mind was completely blown. Because it's very hard for us to think that there was a time when we didn't exist. Like, how is that even possible? We're used to thinking in terms of our birthdays in a particular year. I was born in 1976. Now you know my age. Born in a particular year, particular date. Before that, I wasn't there. And Krishna says, no. We say Krishna, we call him Adyam Purana Purusham. God is the oldest of the old. Is God older than us?
Yes.
He's not. Why? Because we also never stopped existing, and there was never a time when we did not exist. So we're the same age as God. Wow. That's mind-blowing in and of itself. It's very hard to comprehend because we are used to thinking in terms of this time. And then later, the next verse, he says, Dehinosmin yatha dehe. Just as the body passes through childhood, to youth, to old age, the soul continues to exist. Even after the change of death. Death is a change. It's not an end. This is not poetry. This is not armchair philosophy where you can just, this is cool, but what are you going to do about it? No. This is a shift in identity. If we see ourselves as the non-eternal temporary body, foundationally, then insecurity and fear becomes natural. It becomes our baseline. We can try to hide it. We can try to cover it with a thin veneer of sophistication. But inside, we're leading lives of quiet desperation. If we think we are this body. If we see ourselves as a soul, the eternal particle that can never be changed, that can never be destroyed, then serenity becomes natural. A deep sense of peace becomes natural. You don't have to work at it. That's why a person who is realized, who actually truly understands the identity of the self, nothing can shake that person's baseline fearlessness. Because what is there to fear? So this body is like a rented apartment. Some are luxurious, like this one, and some are simple. We have varieties of bodies. Some are big and strong, some are small and gentle, different shapes, sizes, whatnot. But none of them are permanent. None of these bodies are permanent. The resident of the apartment continues. The resident is permanent. The resident moves. Once we understand this, life gains a whole different perspective. It gains depth. It gains meaning. It gains purpose. Every conversation develops into something meaningful. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to grow if we have placed ourselves on the platform of spirituality. Okay, so now, say we understood quite well that we are the soul. We are not the body, we are the soul, we're eternal. I think I get a fairly good idea. I'm seeing, when I was young, I look in the mirror, I look different. Now I look in the mirror, 20 years later, I'm different, but I'm still the same me looking through these windows, these eyes. So that it becomes intuitive, we reflect on it, and okay, I get it. I'm the soul. Then a natural question arises. What does the soul actually want? What is the thirst of the soul? When you're thirsty in the body, what do? Drink water, right? But what is the thirst of the soul? That's the real question. Okay, I understand I'm eternal. The answer is given in the Gita. It's simple and profound. The soul desires loving connection with the Supreme. That's what we really desire. It's very, very natural. Connection. Loving. Love is what we're seeking. All you need is love. Love is all you need. So this loving path is called, everyone knows, bhakti. Bhakti. Bhakti is not blind faith. It is also not cultural routine. It's very rich in culture, but that's not the point of bhakti. See? It is not forced tradition. Because sometimes we feel like as we're growing up with kids, see the grandfather's coming, he's going to make me do all these things. It's a forced, it's not forced tradition. Bhakti is a science of awakening the heart. Quenching that thirst that has been nagging at us for eternity. Bhakti says you are a spark of Krishna. Bhakti says your happiness lies in reconnecting with Him. Bhakti is done not by rejecting life, but by spiritualizing life from wherever you are. It's such an amazing, flexible, powerful system. You can start from any stage in your life to reawaken the soul. You can start from any point in your career trajectory. You can start from any stage of your health, doesn't matter. Because the soul has nothing to do with any of this. You can start at any time and make rapid progress. Nothing can stop bhakti. Because bhakti is completely independent of external circumstances, completely. Because it's the natural function of the soul, which is also completely independent of external circumstances. See? That is why bhakti works for a businessman in Westlands as much as a monk in Vrindavan. And by the way, bhakti is also the only spiritual path where you can offer your food to God and then eat it later on yourself. Other paths are not quite as kind. Only in bhakti do you cook for Krishna, and then Krishna says, wonderful, now you please enjoy. Now, people often ask, with our busy schedules here in Nairobi, where is the time for spirituality? I got no time. Nobody's got time for that. But Krishna did not speak the Gita in a quiet Himalayan ashram. He spoke it on a battlefield with bows stretched ready to fire and chaos, horses moving here and there, elephants making their elephant sounds. That's what he said, practice bhakti here. Amazing. If Arjuna can practice bhakti in the midst of incredible tension, stress, deadlines. Deadlines. What is the deadline in the battlefield of Kurukshetra? The sunset is a deadline. Get as much work as you've done, then you go back. Those are literally deadlines, because they're lines of dead people. He didn't speak in an ashram, in a cave. So we have no excuse whether we have deadlines and we have no time. Arjuna didn't have time either. It means the message works everywhere. It means it also works on Mombasa Road during heavy traffic. So, what I can offer today, this is a short offering to consider the 3 practical ways to incorporate bhakti into modern Nairobi life. Okay? So, every morning, make it sacred. The morning starts, even a few minutes of mantra meditation. What it does, it sets the tone, the vibe, the inner climate of the day. It sets the tone. When you go for that first win in the morning, I remember God. Very positive. There's nothing more positive than the absolute truth. Mathematically also, there's no negative in absolute. It can only be positive. Any number that's absolute has to be positive. So you bring the absolute truth into your morning, and your day cannot possibly start with negativity. I'm just talking mathematics. Change the inner climate of your day. Then the mind becomes calm, just like Nairobi sky at dawn. What you do is you take your feet, you put them on the floor, and take the opportunity to remember God and thank God. Thank Krishna. Thank Krishna that you woke up today. Thank Krishna you're alive today. Not everybody wakes up, unfortunately. Some people stay there and from there straight to Ram Nam Satyaya. But we should thank God that today we are alive. We take for granted the fact that we're alive today. We shouldn't. Every one of us has a date on one calendar with a red circle around it. Some future date in some future calendar. It's not printed yet, but one day it will be. It's circled. Every one of us has a circled date. It's coming. And it usually comes faster than we think. So let's thank God for the day we have today. And we chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is, okay, it may seem like a small, trivial thing, but it's incredibly powerful. We don't have to understand the language of this mantra. You don't even have to understand the meaning of this mantra, but if you do, it's very helpful. But you don't have to. You don't have to understand the mechanism of how medicine works and the pathways it takes in the body. You don't have just to take the medicine. Similarly, you take this medicine of chanting Hare Krishna. Do it for a few minutes or do it for longer. Find some time, make some time. You know? Nobody has time for anything. In Hindi they say, time hota nahi, nikalna padta hai. Nobody has time. You always find yourself making time for things that matter. So reflect on this and recognize this really matters. Aligning the external world with the internal thirst, bring it together. You get the incredible benefit of not just peace, but a resilience and inner strength that helps you tolerate, navigate, and work with the ups and downs of life. Peace, strength, and resilience. Because that comes from connectivity with the source of all energy, Krishna. So that's the first point. Make your morning sacred. Invest as many minutes of it as you can. If it's 5 minutes, then 5. If it's 50, 50. No problem. But do something, make it solid. Make it consistent. Long-term consistency always beats short-term intensity. So make it consistent, and you'll see it builds up. Those of you investors know, you just invest a little bit every month, and after 30 years it compounds, and oh wow. But if you didn't do that little investment every month, then, and you're broke. The person who invested 30 years ago every month consistently, diligently, fixed amount or certain, growth amount, millions of dollars at the end. It's very simple math. So similarly, we consistently invest every day in our spiritual growth. It's a simple process. At the end of life, you'll be amazed at how much it's compounded. And not only you will have the wealth, but those who come in contact with you will get this wealth. See, it works amazingly. So that's the first point. Make your beginning sacred. Second point, turn your work into worship. Say you go in meetings, you're in corporate world, before a meeting or before any big decisions, you're going to make a deal. Say in your heart, Krishna, please guide me. That's all. Remember Krishna before you do the work. Bring Krishna into your negotiation. You don't have to tell somebody else. You can say, Krishna, please guide me. I hope I'm making the right decision. Krishna reciprocates if you call him into your heart. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajamyaham. To the degree you approach me, to the degree you surrender to me, to that degree I will reciprocate. You will see my hand in your life. I will help you. I will bring clarity. But only to the degree you want me to. We have to invite somebody to come into our house. You can't expect that, hey, why didn't you come and help me? Well, you didn't invite me to your house. So we have to constantly be inviting Krishna to the house of our heart. That's the second point. The first point was make your morning sacred. Second point was work into worship. Thank you. And then the third point is create a spiritual anchor point in your home. Like here we have an altar, you can make a small corner, some people even put it in the kitchen, you can have a separate room, doesn't matter. But a small altar, even one picture of Krishna that you bow down to every day, it turns your home into a sanctuary, into a temple. Your children will grow up in a sacred atmosphere. Children don't listen to what you say. Everyone knows that. You can say as much. But they watch carefully what you do. You think they're not watching, you think they're playing. No, they're watching very carefully, watching from the side of their eye. They're learning by osmosis. Because daily they see what you're doing. So if you get excited about Krishna, if you bow down to Krishna and you smile, and the children notice that, you don't have to tell them anything. They'll bow down and smile too. Why is mommy and daddy, smiling when they see Krishna? Why are they excited about chanting? It gets imbibed into the consciousness. It's a great way to raise children. You don't have to shout at them. And your own heart will find a refuge. So these are simple shifts, the simple shifts. But they generate profound inner strength because it adds up. I want to share a story of the person who brought this treasure of bhakti to the world in our modern times, Srila Prabhupada. So imagine a 70-year-old Indian Bengali gentleman in just simple sannyasi saffron cloth boarding a ship called Jaladuta. Now back then there's no internet, hardly people even use hardly phones, it was very expensive. They used to send letters. He is not boarding a cruise ship with all you can eat buffet. That's not Jaladuta. It wasn't in a passenger ship. It was a cargo ship with big boxes, dabbas. He's not going abroad for a retirement or sightseeing. He is going to give India's spiritual heritage to a world that did not even know that they needed it so badly. Now halfway across the ocean, he goes to the Suez Canal, the Atlantic Ocean, and he suffers 2 heart attacks. It's not pretty, okay? Suffering 2 heart attacks, it's not like, oh, what's the big deal? Heart attacks is serious business. It brings you to the brink of death. It's extremely painful. It shakes you to the core. And at that age, it's a more chance of dying than not dying. At that age, And yet he survived. And he prays to Krishna. With tears, he's writing, "My dear Lord, if you want, then make me dance. Make me dance as you wish." Like a puppeteer. I'm just a puppet in your hands. That is a level of surrender he came with. He didn't even know people there. He'd never met the people at all that he was going to supposedly meet. He didn't even know if the guy's going to show up. And then eventually he goes around Boston, and then he goes to Pennsylvania, makes a few contacts, and he arrives in New York with about $7. He has no contacts, he has no marketing team, he has no social media influencers, he has no yoga studios waiting for him, Swamiji come. He just has a little harmonium, actually, he just has like bongo and 3 volumes of Bhagavatam, a trunk full of the 3 volumes Srimad Bhagavatam. So from India, he brought with him maybe $7, $8 worth of rupees, which is not even useful. Nobody accepts rupees. When he landed, he had $20. He made $20, $20 in book distribution on the ship. He sold 1 set to the captain of the ship, Captain Pandya. So he's like, okay, I have some more. That's it. But what he brought with him was an invisible mountain. A mountain of compassion that you could see if you peered into his beautiful eyes. Compassion. So slowly he gathers a small group of seekers. They just sit around listening, chanting, and soon that tiny seed very quickly grows into one of the largest spiritual movements the world has ever seen. And here we are all benefiting from that monumental effort. I live just near New York City, where Srila Prabhupada founded ISKCON, 26 2nd Avenue. Venu Madhuri Mataji, she lives across the street from that point. She sees it every day in New York City. There's something very special in that. If you enter that space, if you ever go to New York City, go and visit 26 2nd Avenue. Just stepping into it's almost like you're stepping into a portal, a different dimension. You feel the vibration. You feel the spiritual walls are throbbing with spirituality. I'm not even kidding you. It's like, where am I? You feel the presence of Prabhupada's, the sprouting of that sapling of ISKCON, which grew into this big tree that's still growing like crazy. What was his secret? What was Srila Prabhupada's secret? Not wealth, not corporate strategy, not any charismatic gimmicks or some kind of cheap trickery. It was purity. It was love. It was his connection to Krishna, and those who came even near him could not escape the gravitational pull of his love. Like, what is this? When he looks at me, I feel so thoroughly shaken, and yet it's like a tsunami of sweetness in his glance. What is this? Prabhupada proved something astonishing. That bhakti is not just timeless. Bhakti is borderless. Bhakti is universal. Bhakti crosses all barriers of language, age, race, gender, ethnicity, external religious labels. This is nothing to do with bhakti. It is absolutely universal. So whether in Delhi or in Dallas, whether in Durban or in Dubai, or whether in Mumbai or Mombasa, the heart responds to Krishna's message. And we see it. You go to Mombasa, the devotees, whoa, you like it too? Yeah, it's very nice. You like it too? Yeah, very nice. They'll say it in a different accent, but it's the same message. Very nice. It is incredibly satisfying. So, in the spiritual realm, when we take up the process of bhakti, we step into what's called the spiritual realm immediately. In the material platform, you have satiation, but you don't have satisfaction. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like you eat, say you eat something there's no nourishment. It's just totally junk food. It fills your stomach. You cannot eat anymore. But there is no satisfaction because your body didn't get the nutrients it really wants. You eat junk, you feel that satiation, but no satisfaction. Especially, if you grew up on eating some nice, especially if you grew up eating like dal, bhat, shak rotli, something. You grew up eating healthy food like that. Then someone has to say, okay, eat this, like some nasty junk food. Yeah, I'll eat it, but, So there's satiation, the stomach is full, but there's no satisfaction. I don't feel satisfied until I eat dal bhat at least. So, similarly, in this world, no matter what you do, there'll be satiation. But there's an undercurrent of dissatisfaction. That's the material realm. Why? Because we're on the material body platform and the soul is not material. We're not matter. That's why there's a dissatisfaction. In the spiritual realm, there is immediate satisfaction, an undercurrent of constant satisfaction. But there's no satiation. You can go on drinking the nectar, day and night. Your stomach doesn't fill up. Drinking the nectar of the holy name. Drinking the nectar of remembrance of Krishna's sweetness. Drinking the nectar of service to devotees, service to the movement, service to the deity, service to Krishna. That's nectarian. You can go on drinking gallons and gallons of it and your stomach will never be full because that's the nature of spiritual life. Immediate satisfaction and no satiation. Give me more. That's what we actually want. Why? Because that's what we actually are. We are supposed to be connoisseurs. Pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavuka. Rasika means those who really know what high standard of life is. Taste. What is real taste? So, my dear friends, tonight is not just a talk, it is an invitation. An invitation to nourish a dimension of life that we often neglect. Just because we hide behind the excuse of there's no time, these things are more important. No. You can make time. Prioritize. You have succeeded in business, you've succeeded in family, you've succeeded in society. You've built impressive outer lives in a difficult place. Kenya is beautiful, but it's not easy to succeed here. You all know that. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of consistency required. But you've done it. You're here. But the inner life still calls for attention. The call of the soul is gentle but persistent. Come on. How much more do I have to wait before you give me some nectar? See? There's a hole in the heart. All of us have a vacuum in the heart that is shaped exactly like Krishna. Flute, everything. But it's a vacuum. You try to fill that with other things that are not Krishna. So it'll never, fully, right? Square peg in a round hole. It doesn't work. We tried, you try to retrofit and force it in. Let me add more money. Let me get more power, more influence. Maybe I'll explore some intoxicants. Maybe I'll, make new friends, and maybe I'll take up a new hobby. See, maybe golfing might be fun, or some other sport that I've never tried. Do boxing or skiing. Can't do much skiing in Kenya. And then there's the weird sports in Olympics, like you skiing down a slope and you have to shoot with a gun. It's like ridiculous things people come up with. Why? Because they're trying to fill that hole in the heart with different varieties of things that are not Krishna. And the thirst keeps kicking at us. So like I said, the call of the soul is gentle, but it's persistent. What is it saying? Learn who you are, my dear conditioned soul. Don't forget, remember, learn who you actually are. Deepen your inner joy. Don't settle for a substandard, or what do you call it, lower standard of living. We don't want to improve or polish a standard of living. This is standard of living. The inner life. Deepen your inner joy. Don't kill that in the name of external standard of living. That's why spirituality means aligning the external with the internal thirst. A lot of the times, because we want to succeed so much in external, this becomes even more distant. We have to realign and pull it back and add Krishna. Deepen your inner joy and reconnect to your source. Who's Krishna? Radha Krishna, Supreme Lord. And all of that can begin with a single daily practice. A few minutes of mantra, simple offering, small act of remembrance. Everything you eat, offer to Krishna. Read a little bit of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, morning and evening. Your family life will be guaranteed to be happy. So, spirituality is not a burden. Like I said, it's not a forced tradition. It is nourishment. It is oxygen of the soul. Someone told me, Prabhuji, I will become spiritual when I retire. Right now, it's hard. It's very busy. Weekends are so tight. I told him, look, your mind is already retired. Why are you waiting for your body to catch up? You see, you're already thinking of it. Don't wait. It's never too late. It's never too early. It's never too anything to start Krishna consciousness. Life is happening now. The opportunity is now. And your heart, believe it or not, is ready now. It's been crying for a long time. Don't deny the soul thirst. So, in closing, I want to thank you again, Ravi Prabhu, Daksha Mataji, for your warm hospitality. May this home always be filled with peace, wisdom, laughter, and devotion. May all of us tonight take even one small step toward nourishing this deepest thirst of our hearts. And may Krishna bless you all with clarity, with courage, with compassion, and inner lasting joy. Thank you all very much for your kind attention and your valuable time. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. I'm not करो and switch चालू करना है wire तो lose है turn on the switch again क्या तो आज लो ना हरी बोल this one
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So thank you all for attending and listening to Madana-gopāla. I hope tomorrow morning something new is going to happen, but we'll check on that later on. So I'd be amiss if I don't introduce another youngest ISKCON person. Please welcome President Gauranga. Please stand up. He's the youngest president in ISKCON to be a president. Yeah. We have many presidents, but they don't fit his age range. So I'd like to welcome Gauranga, who I've also. We are pretty two young guys who mean business. Thank you. So before we go for prashad, maybe Nashing prayer, and then we can go down for prashad. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Let's do it. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya.
भक्तराज प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। ताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।
So we can go downstairs. There's a sit down prashad. Please enjoy. And thank you all once again.
Thank you.
Krishna.